everyone, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Jordan, and I'm here to talk about everything Broadway. And today I'm going to talk about a subject that basically allowed me to see as many shows as I've seen. Broadway is not a cheap hobby. Tickets can be priced from $40, maybe even less, to $300, $400, $500, sometimes even more, depends on who is performing and what kind of performance it is. I do not have that money to see as many shows, but when I come to New York, I'm there to catch as many shows as I can because I do not live in New York. So in order to do that, I have found all the cheapest ways to get tickets to Broadway. And today, in this video, I'm going to talk to you about all the ways that I use to get my tickets. Just to give you an example, I've seen more than 100 shows on Broadway and off-Broadway, and I have paid an average price of $55 for a show. I've done trips of 10 shows in 10 days twice, and I've done 2 trips of around 30 shows in 3 weeks. I am here for Broadway, but to do it in the safest way for your wallet. Without further ado, I'm going to lay out all the ways that you can get cheap tickets to Broadway and keep it on a low average per show. So let's start. The main option, which I'm sure you've heard of, are the lotteries. The lotteries have 3 main websites and a few other small ones, and they are held according to which organization is in charge of the theater that the show is on. So all the Schuberts will be in the Telecharge, the Netherlanders, which are Broadway Direct, and then we have Drew Jamson under Lucky Seat and all the other small ones, which we will discuss. The main things that you should know about lotteries: it is not guaranteed, it is really easy to enter, and that's why it's really hard to win. Your chances of winning are really, I can't really tell you because I don't know how many people apply to each lottery. But let's say if it's a very popular show, your chances are lower because a lot of people will probably want to go see it and catch it through the lottery. That being said, you can still win it. And I won a lot of lotteries on all of my trips, so it is manageable and you can still do it. How does it work? You usually enter your information to the website a day or 2 or sometimes a week before. We're going to talk about how each of the websites work. And you can choose either 1 ticket or 2 tickets for the show that they're opening the lotteries for. You can choose which shows and which times you are entering the lottery for. Then when you get an email that you won, it's usually through email, sometimes through the phone, then you have around an hour up to 4 hours to claim your tickets and pay online. If you have not done that, then you lost your tickets. So notice that when you're entering the lotteries, you have the specific hours. You should enter your email and check if you won or not for the day after. Let's break it down. The first website that we have is Telecharge, and it has all of the Schubert theaters under it. So you have shows like Hell's Kitchen, The Great Gatsby, and whatever is showing in the Schubert theaters. I feel like it's the easiest because it's just 1 click to almost everything. What you do is you enter the website, you connect either through your email, Facebook, LinkedIn, whatever you want. Then you choose the lottery option, and then you have all of these different lotteries for the different times. Look at the time and look what exactly you want to enter. Then you can choose either 1 ticket or 2. You can also see all of the prices. They're usually $40 and maybe have $5 fee, but sometimes it's a bit more. It really depends on the show's policies. Then you just press enter to whatever show you want to enter to, and it's really simple, really nice. You can do it in 5 minutes or less. The shows on the Telecharge are usually for a day after. You can enter from around 9 a.m., you can enter to all of the shows, and then you have 2 drawings, one at 10 a.m. and one at 3 p.m. 3 p.m. is the last time you can enter those lotteries. So if you miss the 3 p.m. deadline, you cannot enter those lotteries. Usually, the lotteries for the Broadway shows are for the day after. So if you entered on a Thursday, it will be for the shows on Friday. For the off-Broadway shows that are under this Telecharge platform, it will be for 2 days after even. So look at the dates just to make sure it's the time and date you want. I love this website and this platform because in one sign-in, you can enter all of the lotteries that you want. It's so easy. Also has 2 drawings, one in the morning and one in the afternoon. But the tricky part is if you win in the morning, but you're not sure you want to see that show and you want to go catch another show and wait for all the lotteries to come in, then you might miss that. I actually had a time that I won at the 10 a.m. I bought a ticket and then I won for a very rare show for the 3 p.m. drawing from a different website. And I bought that ticket as well Fortunately, I was able to sell this ticket eventually, but it was really stressful. Take that into consideration. And if it's a show that you really want, then that's great. So you want a ticket at 10 a.m. and then you have the whole day to not be stressed about it and enjoy it for the day after. So that was Telecharge. We will come back to that because they have another option, which is really cool. But the second lottery website is the Broadway Direct. And this one is a bit of a doozy. You have all those really great shows, but here you need to really fill out your details for all of the entries that you want. So it's a bit time consuming. You need to enter the same details again and again, but it's for the biggest shows on Broadway. It's for Lion King, Aladdin, MJ. It's tickets that are really hard to get. So if you can enter and you are taking the time, do it. It's really worth it. I have won a few shows from it. I did win the Aladdin one and I won the MJ one. And I can tell you that if I have not have won it through the lottery, then I probably wouldn't have seen it. But it was very excited when I won because it's so rare. And some shows I even won a few times through the Broadway Direct, mainly because I think they were less popular than the ones that are the biggest ones, you know? And the prices here are a bit more expensive. It's around $45 to $60, really depends on the show again. But it's worth it because they're so much cheaper than if you'll actually pay in the box office. So it's the cheapest that you can get for a reasonable place at the theater. I can tell you that in Aladdin, I got a seat that was okay-ish. It was pretty far, but it was still fine. And in MJ, I got a first row seat. That's really exciting. I will state again, all of the seats that you're getting through lotteries are really whatever the place can give you. These are cheap seats. It's not always going to be the best seats in the house, but sometimes you win the lottery, literally, and you get amazing seats. And sometimes you get okay-ish seats. I can tell you that most of the times that I did lottery, I got pretty good seats. Now on Broadway Direct as well, if I'm not mistaken, it's all the Nederlander theaters, and you can usually enter the lottery from 9 a.m. until around 2 or 3 p.m. It really depends on the show and what time they put. Look at the website to see what time it closes, and then you get an email straight away, and you can, again, claim your tickets around an hour or two after. Those are for the show the day after as well. The last big website that we have is Lucky Seat. And they're really fun as well, and I'm going to explain in a bit why. So you can sign in at one time, again, really easy, and then you have lotteries for all over the states. So it's not only in New York, it's in the touring companies. This is the platform that has for all of them. If we choose New York, then we have a few shows there and a few off-Broadway shows. When you click on it, you basically could choose performances from the day after until like a week after. I love it so much because you can just sign into all of the dates that you're in New York and then forget about it and just get an email notification if you won. It's really great on that side. You choose the number of tickets that you want and then you just submit it, and it's a one-time thing and you do it for all the dates. You don't need to go in every day and remember to sign in. You're basically signed into all of them. It's so comfortable. And the tickets are as well around the $40, $50. The other thing that I really love is I think they also have like 2 drawings. And what I love about it is that if you did not win the first drawing, you're like on a wait list. So it always gives you hope. Although most of the times I'm just not on it and then I just didn't win. But I did win a few times through Lucky Seat and it was great. It's always fun. Those were the big websites that you can enter for a bunch of shows. And besides from them, we have separate ones that are smaller with really like 1 or 2 shows. The big one that you'll probably know about is Hamilton. Hamilton have their own lottery system and you need to download their app, and then through the app you can enter the lottery. The beautiful thing about this is that it started from the beginning and they always sell it for $10 ticket prices, and it's for the first or 2 rows of the show. So that is fantastic. They still do it so you can still win it, but it's really hard. Hamilton is a very, very popular show, and I can tell you I have never tried to enter it, maybe out of laziness because it has a different app and it's a whole different system. But if you are a fan of the show or you want just a chance to catch it, then you should download the app and then try it. I think they have the lotteries for all of their shows, so even on tour and everything. That's a great way to always be on it. The second app that you should know, and we will also talk about in all the other ways, but it is Tix. And Tix also has a lottery. It's mainly for Harry Potter and sometimes for other things. But for example, their Harry Potter lottery is very similar to Lucky Seat. You can enter for a bunch of shows. They call it Lucky Friday, which they usually on a Friday, they release all of those tickets. and they tell all of their winners. If you like Harry Potter, then that's a great way to catch it. I won my tickets through there. And they also have lotteries for different specific shows, so you should check it there. That was the lotteries. I will say it again. This is not guaranteed, and it's not guaranteed you'll get good tickets, and it's not guaranteed that you're winning. It's super risky, but if you have the time and if you just want to take a risk, do it. It's so easy to enter, and it's just like 1 click, 2 clicks, and you're in. I would always recommend it. I loved winning the lotteries because it meant that the day after I could do whatever I want until the show, which is great, and I didn't need to worry about how am I going to get cheap tickets, which I usually do. Oh, the life of somebody who does not have the money for Broadway. The second way to get cheap tickets, and this is the hardest way because you need to work for it, and that is rush tickets and standing room tickets. But let's talk about Rush first. Rush tickets started as Student Rush. They did it in Rent in order to bring their audience to the theater, and they gave them the best seats in the house. It's the same producer, Jeffrey Seller, who's doing Hamilton. So that's why the first 2 rows are for the biggest fans who can't always afford it, which is pretty great. But in order to get Rush tickets, you need to get to the theater, and then they sell you a same-day show tickets. You need to come really early in order to have a chance at those 10 to 20 tickets, sometimes more, sometimes less. How do you make sure that you get it? It really depends on the popularity of the show. I was in New York at January in 2017, and I wanted to catch The Color Purple with Cynthia Erivo. That show was super popular. We checked with the theater and they told us that people come really, really early. So we came to that theater at 6 a.m. It was freezing cold, and we sat there for 4 hours until the box office opens, which is usually 10 on weekdays and 12 on Sunday. Yeah, we got the tickets. We actually got separated tickets, but we still got the tickets and I got to see the show. But this is a pure example of how hard it can be sometimes. I waited in line 3 times for Death Becomes Her in order to get those tickets. It sometimes can be really, really, really hard, and sometimes it can be really, really, really easy. I can tell you that pre-Tony Awards, I went to Maybe Happy Ending at 10 a.m. when the box office opened. I even came at around 10:30 and I got tickets to see the show. It really depends on the popularity, it depends on the day, and depends on how much they were selling that day. It's super risky, but you can lower the risk by coming really early. If it's a show that you really want to catch, put the time in. A few ground rules for the in-theaters rush tickets. Usually, you need to come at least 30, maybe 60 minutes before the box office opens. You get up to 2 tickets per person, so if you are alone, you can get 2 tickets. If you come with a friend, you can get up to 4. The tickets are around $40 to $50. Sometimes they're less, really depends on the policy of the theater. Don't expect to get good tickets. It's so important for you to realize that, because it's the cheapest tickets. They just give you whatever they have and whatever they can. And usually it's on the sides or on the back. It's not the best ones. But sometimes you have great tickets. I had a few shows that I had amazing tickets. Sometimes you get first row, and sometimes you get the boxes, which are really, really nasty in some theaters. It's so risky on where you sit, but it's less risky if you get it or don't get it. Side note, you can always improve your seat. I'm a bit naughty, and sometimes when I get tickets that are not the best and I see that there is an open seat during the first act, then I improve my seats on the second act. Some people will feel free to do it, some people won't. I feel like as long as it doesn't bother anybody, then you should do it. And if the usher moves you, then he moves you, but they usually don't do it, especially if you move on the second act. So that's fine for me. Do whatever you feel comfortable with. Those are the rules for rush tickets. Another thing is that sometimes in some theaters you have 30 under 30 or 35 under 35. So if you are under 35 or under 30, you have some shows that you just need to say, hey, I'm under 30, and then you'll get really cheap tickets. It's not a lot, but it's still some, so it's great. Where else can you get rush tickets? Good thing that you're asking. Well, remember when we talked about the app today, Tix? Well, one of the best things that they have is Rush. I know, rush tickets on an app? How can you do that? Well, it's pretty simple. When the time comes and the rush is opened, you'll click so fast on your phone in order to get the tickets that you want. It is so hard, but it's so important for you to know two things. One, the first person to click is the first person to get it. So be quick about it. Put a notification. It opens at 9 a.m. usually, and then you can just get it and grab it, and then you have tickets for the day. If you do not get it, sometimes people catch the tickets and then they are released again after 10 minutes. Pay attention to that. Come back at 9 and 10 minutes and try again. I tried a few times and I managed to get some tickets through that. It's really cool and it's usually pretty nice tickets. You can pay through the app and you can get points in the app, which is a win-win-win-win-win. Another way that you can get rush tickets is through Telecharge. Those are the other side of the website. So you have the lottery and then you have the rush. The rush opens at around 11 a.m. and then you can get up to 2 tickets on the show that you want. Not all shows are in the rush in the website. And some of the prices are really pricey. It's not rush tickets, it's cancellation tickets. Notice that, especially in the Outsiders, for example, they have a lot of times cancellation and then they sell those tickets for $180. It's not cheap as the $30 or $40 that you usually get for those tickets, but it's really cheap for Broadway. $180 on really good seats can be really fun. When you click on it, you usually get which seats you are getting, which is also a great way to check and see if it's the seats that you want. And then you can just purchase it through the website and you have your tickets. Here, I don't think you have really a timing for it. The chances of you getting tickets at 11 a.m. are, of course, higher. But if you try later on the day, sometimes they do still have tickets. I think I got a few shows from there, but take into consideration it's not the most popular shows, of course. It's the less popular. So if you're still debating during the day, you can enter there and see what's available, which is really fun, and then you can just catch a show. Awesome. Those were the rush. We have another way that is in the theaters, and you need to line up in the morning and everything, which is called SRO, standing room only. Those tickets have the same policy as the rush with a few small differences. First of all, the standing room is usually sold only when the show is at 95% capacity or up. If the show is not selling, they will not sell you the standing room only. If they do sell it, that's great. You get really, really cheap tickets. What's the downfall? You need to stand for the whole show. So the standing room are literally standing room. Behind the last row of the theater, there are assigned standing seats, and you can stand there and watch the show. Actually pretty great, because if the theater is not long, then you see the whole stage without nobody disturbing you. So it can be really great. But if the theater is really long, like in the La Fontaine, I saw Sweeney Todd there, and the standing room was absolutely a nightmare. I did not see anything. It was so far away. I couldn't even see Josh Groban's face clearly. I just moved up to the balcony and saw a free seat and sat there. But it can be pretty risky as well. So notice the theater that you're going in and if it's worth it. I can tell you that it was really fun standing room. It's not that bad. I had a few shows that I stood the whole show. Pretty Woman, Dear Evan Hansen, I saw it with the original production and it was fantastic, and sometimes it's really worth it. But the line for that can be as tough as it is for Rush, because sometimes they do not have Rush because it's a really, really successful show and they only have standing rooms. So The Outsiders is a great example for that, because I do not think they do Rush because they are selling so well, but they do have the standing room, and I've seen it through the standing room. And during the intermission, I saw available seats and I moved and I sat there during the second act. So you can still enjoy the show. It's fun. It can be worth it. But another very important thing to note is that standing room does not always sell in the morning. So you might wait for 3-4 hours and then the gates open. I'm kidding. Then the box office opens and there are no standing room because the show has not sold out yet. What you can also do is come back a few hours later. That's how I saw Hadestown. I went in the morning, they did not have the standing room. I went at like 5 p.m. to catch the 8 a.m. show, and they did have standing room, and that's how I got my tickets. It's worth checking. Those 3 ways, the lotteries, standing room, and Rush, are the cheapest ways to get tickets to Broadway. You have other cheap ways, which are a bit more expensive, but not that much. They're still sometimes 50% off the original price, and there are really great ways that you should know if you want to see Broadway without breaking your wallet. The first one, which was very intriguing, and I tried it once and it was exciting, is called Broadway Roulette. You basically pay around $60 to $70 for a ticket for a show that you have no idea which show it's going to be. You can put in a few preferences when you choose and mark shows that you don't want to see, and then they just lottery, whatever tickets they have, and they just give you 2 tickets. I can tell you that I heard that sometimes they give amazing seats that they just didn't sell for these amazing shows. My experience was a bit different. I saw Here Lies Love with it, and I got the worst seats in the house. Usually, it's not supposed to be that. I experienced it once, and it wasn't the best. But I really want to try it again, just to give it another chance, because I did hear that some people got some amazing seats. But I don't know. If you want another risk and just like to buy tickets and whatever they choose for you, then you go. It's a great way to just have like a fun night of, ooh, what am I going to get? And you get the tickets the day of. That's very exciting. Just for the thrill of it, I would do it again. The second way, which is, I think the most famous way, is tkts. I'm sure you've heard about that booth. It's a booth in the center of Times Square. It's part of its, glory of Times Square. And they offer same-day tickets with a reasonable discount. Sometimes it's up to 70 or 80% depending on the show. You basically stand in line until you get to the box offices there and you can get really cheap tickets. I would always recommend going to the theater before. The only time that I would recommend going to the tkts is if you do not know which show you want to catch. And then during your wait in the line, you can ask the representatives there. They can recommend on a show, and then you can just catch a show. But if you know what show you want to catch, I feel like tkts is a tourist trap, especially if you're not from the States. It's very famous, but it's not always reasonable. And sometimes you can get really cheap tickets in the theater itself for the same day show. I can tell you that even for The Outsiders, which is a very popular show, I came to the theater an hour before the show started and the prices went down because it's an hour before. You can still get it for cheaper prices. It is something that is a bit more risky if you want to wait. I did not go to the tkts on any of my last travels, only when I was very young. I would not recommend it. I would recommend all the other ways. Another way, which is kind of rising now, so people are more familiar with it and know about it more, is the Theater app. Theater. Yes, so this is a new app. It's only in the US, but if you come from outside of the US and you enter the US, you can try and download it there. I'm not sure it's that easy to sign in, but you can still find a way. And there, it's so fun because it's basically people offer their own tickets, but they offer it in a discount. A lot of people who have tickets for shows that they cannot catch, they just offer it there for half price, sometimes even less, and it's really great way to check it, but you do not know what tickets are going to show there and what prices. It's more according to what they have to offer and what people are putting up there. But it's a great way to check. You should always open the app and check it and see if there is something for you there and the prices and see if it's worth it. Usually it is. I have a friend who used it for his whole trip. I did not have a chance to use it, but I heard only good things about it. Another way is Today Tix. We talked about that app. It's a great app, and they also have some really great offers. If you want for the same day or even a few days before, you can check your prices there. They're usually reasonable prices, and if you buy it a lot in advance, you can also get some really great offers from it. Besides from all of those, we also have other websites like StubHub, which is very, very known, where you can buy tickets up to the last minute. I will tell you that sometimes they lower the prices there if it's on the same day or a few hours before, just because they have a ticket, they're not going to use it. It's usually brokers or something like that. And it's very similar to the Theater app, but it's like a lot of other people, and the chances of you having tickets there are higher because they usually have tickets for all the shows. So you can catch that. And the last, which only happens around this time of year, is the Broadway week. They usually do it for the end of the summer and the beginning of the autumn, where you have like a month to purchase a 1+1 deal. So you purchase one ticket, you get another one for free. Yay! It's usually for specific times is sold and for specific times to go catch the show. It's really nice. It's a great way if you want to catch Broadway and you know that you're in town for those dates. But if you're not, then it's not relevant. It only happens once a year and for a specific amount of time. That's it, guys. Those were all of the cheapest ways that you can get tickets for Broadway. I hope it helps you for your next trip. If you want to hear all of my journeys and how I got cheap tickets and what I did to work for them, or on my 10 shows in 10 days trips that I had, which I paid around $50 for a show, please comment. I will publish all of my findings and all of my love. I really hope that you get to catch a show through one of these ways. They're risky, but they are healthier for your wallet and for your finances. But sometimes it's really sucky seats, sometimes it's really great ones. I always loved it because it gives them more action and, you can have the best experiences through it. The last thing that I would say is that keep in mind when you're rushing that you are rushing with other people who love Broadway like you. You can spark a conversation with somebody who's standing next to you and just enjoy the grueling 2-3 hours that you need to wait with somebody else who shares the same passion as you do. I always loved trying to talk to the people, especially when it was cold or hot outside, because then the time passes by quicker. But if socializing like that does not come as easily to you, you can always bring a book or bring some music and just try and pass the time. It just can be a lot, and it can be very boring and really cold. If you're in the winter, that is something that you need to take into consideration. Another tip for rushing is look at the day that you're coming in. If it has a 2-show day, then you can probably come a bit later because there are more seats available to the 2 shows. If you come on a weekend, you should come earlier because there will probably be more people rushing. If you come during the winter, you can come a bit later sometimes because people don't like rushing in the winter. So really look at what times you're coming and try to fit according to the trends that are going on the same day. That is my tip for you. And you can always check. I know that there is an influencer who goes around the rushing theaters and says how many people are in line for a specific day. It's really interesting to understand what time exactly you should come. That's another tip for you. Thank you so much, guys, for sticking out for the whole video. If you please like and subscribe this video for me to give you some more content, and I will see you on the next one. Bye!